against the ninja.
That's what we
We'll fight
needed.
the battle to win.
That's
against
really
the ninja.
no. You're being a jokester over there, but that's really what we needed in this film. We
Yes.
needed some Miami Connection song, routine, jams, whatever they're called. We needed
They were
that.
called Dragon Sound.
Dragon Sound. We really needed that at this time. But no, tonight's film is, what year is it again? 1984, I believe. 1984.
94.
American martial arts horror action film directed by Sam Furstenberg. It's Ninja 3, The Domination.
The Domination. And
Now-
boy, did I get dominated tonight.
You get
My senses got dominated, all
a
right.
lot of things got dominated tonight. My self-esteem, my outlook for my future, everything. Just
I didn't have to pay for it either. It's nice.
Yeah, you didn't. We were able to watch this for free tonight, and you are not familiar with this movie, correct?
No, I'm not. Well, now I am. We are close brothers now.
You're bound to
I'm
it.
bound to it.
You might even say you're possessed by it. Yep, that's right, folks. It's a partial ghost movie.
Yes, like
For some reason.
it doesn't make any sense. I can't even explain it. Okay,
Who knows? Well, let's get into it. My name is AC,
this is Scrooge.
and this is
Real bad movie.
right off the bat. What
Good
is
Lord.
right off the bat? What is your impression of all this?
Where do you want me to begin exactly?
Just because we like to reiterate every time we have one of these podcast episodes that you are a martial artist.
Yes,
So
yes, sir.
I would just like to know,
For all the single ladies out there, if you'd gladly like to see me kick some ass, I can clearly do that.
Wait, are those holsters over there?
Oh yeah, for these enormous guns.
Yeah, you can't see it because this is an audio MP3, but he is flexing. So
But they
just
are
imagine it.
legal. Don't worry, they are legal in the state of New York, and I am totally have permits and everything else. So don't worry about it. Well, how about we could start with how we came upon this movie. Well, you and I have been doing this now for a while, and we'll continue to keep searching through Prime Video, Tubi, whatever, the usual suspects for movies. And I've passed by this a few times with you, and AC is always bragging on this movie, the opening scene. He kept saying that it is the greatest 15 minutes of my entire life, and it's going to be amazing, and be this and that. And so we were sitting here brainstorming what we were going to watch. And I was feeling like something action or movie, martial art movie related, something. I needed something. I was feeling the vibe there. And eventually we settled on, what about that Ninja 3? It's like, what about something Ninja related? And I'm like, what about that Ninja 3? Always talking about that. And so, lo and behold, enter the Ninja. Because, bong.
This film is very frustrating. Just to get it off the bat, like we were sitting down and watching this film. We were having fun with it. Overall, we had fun.
Yes, I
correct?
did. It was good.
Yeah, if you can't make it
It's a
to the
good
end,
time.
if you can't make it to the end of the episode, just remember, like, we had fun with this flick. But it
Full
was
disclaimer, AC's talking to himself when he says if you can't make it to the end of this episode because he struggles every time. So he wasn't talking to the audience, just so you know. He was talking to himself.
This was, I think, one of the first movies in a while that I kept looking to see how far we were into the actual flick, because I was like, okay, like, we need to move on from this, and I want to go home and sleep because this movie is exhausting and it's frustrating.
You are where you belong, right here.
Well, I'm just glad, though. I'm really glad that
I'm glad you're glad, because you're gonna realize once you notice the door's locked that you're not going anywhere. So we're gonna finish this podcast.
Let's paint a picture, though, for the folks at home, okay? 1980s. You got one of the biggest flicks of the early 1980s, Poltergeist. But we also have one of the biggest. When did Karate Kid come out? And when was Karate big? I think it was the early 80s, correct?
Well, when we say karate, we might call like karate's big, because karate was around the United States since the 60s.
Well, obviously, but I'm saying in film. in film.
Well, no, because
in mainstream American film.
Really, I would say years before. Because
Really?
because.
But the 80s like brought it back out though, right? I thought
I mean,
was the.
well, okay. Let me, so I don't make you feel foolish, but like, so like a good example of martial arts coming into the mainstream movies, in my opinion, would be the James Bond films, because in the James Bond films, the first ones with Sean Connery, may he rest in peace, that wonderful Scottish man. He in the first few films, they would always be showing like the training sequences, or like the training of the MI6, the British organization he works for, and they'd always be guys in karate gis doing karate and judo in the back, and then he'd be doing so-called, quote, and definitely big air quotes, he'd be doing so-called karate, or the
Sean Connery himself. Wow.
Yeah, he'd be doing, well, no, because when I say quote unquote karate, it's because he's supposed to be doing karate, but really what it is one of my favorite things of the 60s when it came to films and TV shows was the all-seeing, the all-powerful judo chop. You know what I'm talking about? Judo chop. You ever seen Austin Powers?
No.
Okay.
I've seen it.
You've seen the judo chop. It's literally the judo chop.
I'm going to look up a gif of it right now. The judo chop.
Just say judo chop.
Oh, Austin Powers was like the next thing that came up after I did the judo chop. I think so. Okay. Yeah, he says it. Yeah,
yes.
Okay.
Now, he says it because it's a joke.
And
in
then
the
with
movie,
the toothpaste, right?
But
or whatever it is.
Well, no. So it's a joke because he's mocking a trope that was in pretty much almost any action movie from the action TV show from the 60s, where it would almost be like the Vulcan neck pinch from Star Trek. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Vulcan neck pinch.
I'm looking, even the Flintstones did a judo chop.
Yes, because what it became was like an like I said, all-encompassing, all-seeing technique where anybody who needed to incapacitate somebody else would literally just do this chop.
Yeah, I know what that is.
Yes.
Yeah, the quick chop.
Yeah, but that would literally be the move. So in anything, like it'd just be a chop. It'd be a chop, and even people that don't do martial arts, even in the movies, like it'd be the judo chop, and that's what they called it, the judo chop. So in Austin Powers, he's making fun of it by literally yelling the word judo chop out when he's saying it. So I bring this up because you said, well, so karate had been around in movies and whatnot since the 60s.
I know it's been around.
Then we had the kung fu boom of the 70s with Bruce Lee and all of the kung fu films in the United States. So, I mean, really, if you want to say, like, kind of karate became prevalent again, like, really prevalent, maybe you could say the Karate Kid, but Karate Kid didn't come out until this year.
Mm-hmm. It was 1984.
But I can even tell, like, while you talk for a second, I'll tell you exactly the date, too. Of when it came out. Yeah.
Okay. But no, like my main thing was, the 70s, this, were a huge time for a bunch of martial arts, even like, what do they call them? Like you were saying, Bruce Lee exploitation movies.
Yeah, it's like Bruce exploitation movies. I was trying to remember because like they don't separate the word. It's like one full word.
But there was a lot of
kung fu movies to start with, and then.
But then I feel like in the 80s when VHS came out, these kind of movies were like top tier when it came to martial arts and karate. These kind of like,
here's what I tell you. Here's what I feel like came in the 80s. Here, I think this is what you're looking for. There came this trope of either in shows or in movies where there was always an Asian character coming from Japan, or someone had trained with Asian people, and there's always some kind of weird element of like someone who knew martial arts, or someone had a partner who was a martial artist, or like I can give you examples. So Miami Vice, the lieutenant, played by Edward James Olmos, he had this thing where he was trained in like Thailand, and there's a whole double part episode about his time in Thailand and like fighting martial artists and stuff.
Well, Samurai Cop, very similar. He's
we're talking about bad movies. It's like that. That's using, you want to talk about Samurai Cop, the Deadpool with Clint Eastwood, his last Dirty Harry movie. He has just for some reason an Asian partner who knows martial arts. There's a lot, in my opinion. I think that's what you're maybe thinking of. Is that there was this trope about like Japan. Karate, samurai, ninjas.
It's mysterious. I think of like
romanticizing the whole. Yes, that like what you're thinking.
You're from a different country. You're from, an Eastern country, and I feel like there's almost like a sense of magic. You know that, like when you're a kid and you watch a magician, you think it's actual magic. It's almost like the same thing. There's like a that's again force. What they've been doing for years though, because it went from.
it went from like being incredibly racist, treating Asian culture to Hung Chung Ching,
Oh, there's still
John Charlie.
racism in this movie. We'll get to it.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But like really blatant, over the top racism, and then it turned into like the mysticism, what you're talking about, of like that otherworldly, worlds collide, that type of thing. I think that's kind of what you're getting at, is like that trope, but it's been around for a while. It's just, there was definitely, I think, because 80s did everything, it cranked it to 11.
Well,
I think that's what it makes it even more crazy, is because they started putting it together with things it shouldn't be with. I think that's what you're thinking
and
of.
that's what this movie is. It's a mix of a couple different genres of film.
Karate Kid came out in June 22nd of 1984.
Okay.
And then this one, let's see.
It was the same year, so I wonder.
It'd be the same year, but there's no way they would know that.
Yeah, the production of it was, they were probably filming around the same time, but I don't think they were aware of each other.
Well, hold on. This was released in September 14th.
So was that before?
No, it's after.
After the
So you
Karate
never
Kid?
know. They could have easily seen some stuff and thought, oh, shoot, let's put that in there. Let's do some reshoots.
There's no way they could have got this whole movie done.
I'm not saying the whole movie. I was just reading how the director was bitching about how it failed because he threw so much crap together of like, there's horror, there's demons.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
there's
you're
this,
right. Yeah, that part. I thought you meant making it a ninja karate movie. I was like, no, that.
Oh no! I just
when
think
this film was written, that was definitely the main thing.
What I was thinking was that there's possibilities that there's elements of stuff that they could have been easily just a movie came out or something came out there. Oh shoot, let's put that in there too.
Let's put it. Yeah, and that's where, like I said, you get this weird like poltergeist vibe, because this movie is weird because it like we were talking, and why I wanted to show you. It's essentially a martial arts film, but I didn't realize as we watched it, it's kind of a horror film as well. There's some weird spiritual, supernatural,
I think
context.
Eventually, I thought the same thing, but it took so long because this movie is so fucking damn goofy. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, by the time I'm like, oh, they actually are trying to do a horror angle to this.
Yeah.
Like, which makes no sense because there's no actual like stakes. There's no actual story to the fact of why this should be a horror. Why should we even be afraid?
There's
like anything.
It's so bland. None of it's explained.
Nope.
We'll find out.
Not a single thing. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. The whole reason why I jumped on this is because of how proudly AC spoke with the whole beginning.
I spoke because I've only seen this film for possibly the first 20 to 25 minutes. Like I was telling you, like I will always proudly, I will wear it on my chest and let everybody know the first 15 minutes of this movie. I don't exactly know the exact time. I think it's about 15 minutes. First 15 minutes of this movie are easily one of my favorite first 15 minutes of a movie in history ever. Like I said, we start out, and to your credit, like, this is martial arts in the beginning, and somebody watching this, it is martial arts. It has a little bit of a weird, when we enter the cave in the beginning, we'll talk to, it's a little bit out there and kind of bizarre, but it's full out a martial art movie to begin. Like, okay, yeah. That's what I mean.
Right out of the gate, yes.
Yeah. Whereas, like, once we get into this movie more, it goes in weird directions, but let's bring it back to the beginning. The first 15 minutes, we see a car, of course, driving through the desert. I thought, and I was telling you this, I thought that he awoke in this cave, like he was the spirit in this cave.
Yeah, well, I was going off of what you said, and like the beginning was, again, when we talk about the trope of like everything's just so Asian, like it's got to be Asian. Like if something's Asian, it's not like just, hey, it's Asian. It's got to be, no. You got to have, because make sure to set it up. The opening credits had stereotypically Asian font to it, like like it's an Asian restaurant. It had, of course, the bells chiming and the instruments used in a lot of like stereotypical, it's Asian stuff happening, like hear bells and gongs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so that's before we even get the movie started. That's happening.
They let you know, like I don't even know how to say this, auditorily, like they literally will inject these sounds that make you reminisce about other films, like we were talking about.
It's just like, you ever seen in movies with the jungle?
Yeah, they do the
same sound effect, like the monkeys and stuff. It's like that.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing with Asian stuff.
The stock thunderstorm. We get to that one part where it's thundering and lightning. Yeah, so we get that as well. We get a lot of like.
But yeah, so I guess Homeboy was. You thought he like. a homeboy ninja bad guy or whatever was like already in the cave or whatever.
Yeah,
No,
I
this
thought
guy just
he
pulls
like
up in his car.
wakes up. Yeah, so he pulls up and then he like looks at all these like, I guess a stone opens or something like that, and
No, he
and
pushes it open, and it's revealed it has like a cache of ninja weapons in it for no reason.
it's like sitting on this like plastic like sheet with like a light going through it.
Yep.
So it's supposed to look like it's like holy or something. Like this is where the supernatural shit comes
yeah,
in.
literally, it's lit up. It's like a treasure chest with ninja weapons, and then he just all of a sudden just starts suiting up, like just
Yeah, and he's ready to go, and we don't know what's going on. It's kind of mysterious. Cool little intro, and then we get into this guy. We have no clue who he is. We find out later at the police station that he is a very important scientist, I believe.
yeah, super important.
Which is so bland, and we're not going to explain anything else. But
No, like literally, like I guess because I know we're gonna go through it, but like that never had any impact on the show.
No.
On the movie
And like
at all.
I told you at the end, I said, wait, okay, this has got to make sense in the last movie. But
It
the
doesn't.
last movie, so
Nope.
there's 2 movies before this. This
Yeah.
film is called Ninja 3. This
Said
is
Enter the Ninja was the first, and then Revenge
of the
was the
Ninja.
second one.
like you had such a cool opportunity for your third movie to be called something, cooler than Ninja 3. The Domination, by the way.
Domination.
Why not The Possession or something that's at least related to
Because they didn't want people to actually think it was the movie they were going to see. They wanted to trick them.
Well, we got tricked, actually. The audience, yeah, you and I got very tricked.
They threw a smoke bomb and poof, wrong name, so that way people got tricked into watching.
And
the
you
movie.
know where this movie belongs? Like that ninja in the dirt. So, anyways,
Wow, you must have really
that was
pulled
a
out
bad
all
one,
the stops
yeah.
for that one. Good job, man.
I tried. Thank you.
Good job, buddy.
So
That classic
we
joke.
start, of course, in any film that has to do with Americans and ninjas. We start on a golf course.
Yes, sir.
We start on a beautiful golf course, and they filmed this movie in Arizona. Beautiful Arizona golf course.
Arizona.
We might have to go down to Arizona and visit this
should.
golf course and,
Yeah.
and look around for this ninja.
That'd be a great idea. They'd be like, "What the hell are you doing here?" Like, "Oh man, this is the site of our favorite movie, Ninja 3: The Domination, right here. This is where the guy was killed by the ninja, right here."
It's just gonna be like a cop with a giant scar on his head, and he's like, "Go, get away from here."
It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Well, this ninja, I guess, awakens in a cave that's somewhere
Next to
near
a golf course.
the golf course, which is like, you could think really deep into this, and AC likes to think deep.
Yes. Yep.
But
Here it
you could
comes.
think that.
Here it
'cause-
comes.
well,
Oh,
this would
God.
only work in the context of what I was talking about.
Yeah.
And Ninja awakens from a deep sleep because
Right.
he's a ghost, right?
Okay.
And he obviously a cave. Well,
Right.
Americans like to build things wherever they want, and they build it right next to a secret cave. And it's like, think about that. That would be a cool idea for a movie.
Secret
like
cave?
A ghost ninja awakens from a secret cave and has to like protect his land, and his land is literally was made into a golf course. So imagine this whole movie just takes place in the golf course, and he's just killing.
He's just killing all the people on the golf course.
Yes, to protect it and kind of like.
I do believe you came up with the idea for a really bad movie, AC.
We might have to write this film.
Congratulations.
This sounds great to me.
Call it Hole in None.
Oh God, we'll figure out a cool motto too as
We
well.
got it.
But yeah, so I guess this scientist is surrounded by a bunch of bodyguards and
No, nothing's explained. He pulls
Nothing.
up and he says, "Hey, you guys help me out." They all get out and they all just start walking around, I guess, looking for his ball.
which is weird because like he seems suspicious, but I don't think he sees the ninja.
No,
at
it has
this
nothing
time.
to do with that. No, got nothing to do with that.
But he like senses something is weird or something like that. It's not really explained, but one of the guards walks up and finds the golf ball, and of course, who gets the golf ball?
The ninja.
Well, specifically, what was his name again? Remember?
The Black Ninja.
Yes, and he's not black, nor
Nope.
is his
Outfit,
whatever he's
it's
wearing
gray.
is black.
You know
Yeah.
how ninjas primarily in pop culture are always wearing black, like the cornerstone of being a ninja.
Yes.
Well, this homeboy is gray. He's wearing a gray
It's-
sweatpant ninja costume.
It's kind of gray because in some shots it's almost like it's like olive, like it's kind of like
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't
army
know that
green.
Oh, olive. Oh.
Yeah. And
Okay, all right, they're Fredonia yuppie. It's olive. My bad.
yeah, but it's a weird. And it's discolored, and
It's not black.
We'll learn that it's also waterproof. We'll also learn
Yes,
this
we
later
will.
in the flick. So this ninja, of course, attacks the scientist and his guards. We get some really cool deaths. There's one specifically I remember where he shoots a. What are those things called?
Blow dart.
He shoots a blow dart into a gun and it explodes.
Yeah,
Can that work?
Well, no. Are you kidding me?
Asking our weapons expert.
Okay, absolutely. Well, one, remember, he kills all of them with ease. He kills the scientist, the super important scientist, with ease, and then kills his bodyguards. Then the cops just show up out of nowhere.
Well, yeah, but I was saying, so he shoots the blow dart.
Right.
kills
I'm
another
saying,
guy.
I was just thinking about, but so like you've got guns and all this other stuff. I can tell you this right now, that would not work. Okay, him.
So if a blow dart went into a gun, you're saying this would not work.
Well, okay, so
Are you disrespecting this film?
I am absolutely calling bullshit on this film because, okay, let's say even for the sake of the argument that you were able to get into the gun, then I think maybe there's a possibility of it jamming.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you could literally shoot a blow dart into a gun that someone's pointing at you, ready to shoot you, the possibility of you getting that into the gun, that ain't happening.
It's a very slim chance.
No, but the fact that it happened in this movie is fantastic because
It's amazing.
That's literally like the first line of coke that's being snorted, and we haven't even got to the rest of the mountain for the rest of the scene. So, if you will, please. Sir.
Oh, it's great. And then there's another scene right after this where he lifts up a golf cart. If you remember that specific part, he's
no,
literally.
I actually don't remember that.
Oh, you probably were tuning it out, but he lifts up a golf cart with his one hand. and
Oh
kinda-
no,
That's
yeah.
when he kills
Okay, no,
the scientist.
I
and
thought
his
you meant
girlfriend.
lift like over his head. No, he did. He
Oh,
ran
no.
over and grabbed it with his one hand, and there's no reason why this golf cart should be stopping. But yeah, he picks up with his one hand and he shakes out the two of them.
So he proceeds to kill the scientist, which we find out was his main mission for some reason.
Yep.
Never explained.
Never
we don't know
explained. Not
why.
a single reason for it. Nothing.
No, and my theory when it came, because it makes a little bit more sense. You wake up in a cave, you don't know where you are. You got all this cool ninja weapons around you. You go out and you kill who's ever around. Like ninjas,
That's
I
how
feel
they
like,
do. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
That's just in their nature.
So
you know,
that
as
makes
ninjas.
sense. But then we learned that he's got a whole backstory that we'll get to and all this kind of crap. So, anyways, we're only 5 minutes in at this point, and the cops are being called, like you said.
Just out of nowhere.
Oh, it was a code, I think 451,
Yeah.
which we said. I guess the cops have it written in the registry that there is
A ninja on a golf course.
specifically, yeah, for a ninja in a golf course, it's code 451. So you'll have to ask.
451?
You'll have to ask your cop friends about this.
Yes, I
and
will.
confirm.
Yeah, well, because I think you remember the great ninja raid of Poughkeepsie's golf course of '87. Yeah, so that was probably where that
This was
started
ahead
from.
of its time then. This
Yeah.
was 1984.
It predicted the future for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, we get after this, the cops are called in, of course, and he starts outrunning the cops and slowly taking out everybody.
It doesn't make any. He literally was on a golf course, and now he's running like in the middle of a desert with like tumbleweeds and everything. Doesn't make any sense. And then literally, I mean, you weren't kidding though, because it was spectacular. For the next like 10 minutes, he single-handedly kills like 30 or 40 cops.
Takes out the whole police force, and that's why I told you this is like the best 15 minutes of any martial art movie I think I've ever seen. Because right away you get into this action, the music's pumping. You know,
it's
the
80s.
music is
80s rocking, and he's killing cops with his hands, with swords, with their guns. The best one, of course, was when he hops on one of the police copters, the police copter they have, and he's dangling from it, and he kills the guys inside. But the best part is when he throws the shuriken ninja star
yeah.
at the guy's head, kills the one pilot, and the other guy goes, "Don't worry, man. Hold on, I'll get him."
While
Remember?
yeah,
While the
there's
guy's dead, while the guy has
there's a ninja star literally in his
stuck
head.
in his face, he's like, "Hold on, man, I'll get him." And he fails as well. He gets out of the plane, falls to the water. For some reason, it's there above a bed of water because
On a golf course,
makes,
I guess.
makes reasons.
I
You know, I guess whatever. Then the plane goes and crashes, and it continues the genocide, the cop genocide.
Yep,
that-
and there's the one where he jumps on top of a cop car and he punches
Yeah.
through a cop car.
Through it. He punches through the top of the hood.
Yeah, and there's also a part where this is how we're introduced to how like fucking crazy this guy is. He takes a golf ball and he squeezes it and breaks it, which this happens later in the film when we'll talk about the woman who gets possessed by this ghost spirit. But he takes out this whole police force essentially, but he gets surrounded at one part, right?
It's the final, the last stand. He gets surrounded by like 20, 30 cops, and he still proceeds to murder like 15 or 20 of them.
He fakes them out because they're shooting the crap out of him, and then he falls down.
Yeah,
and I think he does it like a couple times. He just keeps like faking them out.
Yeah, he keeps faking them out. He keeps, falling and doing, backflips and whatever, and they're shooting him like 70 times, shotguns, rifles, handguns. And
that's a ninja. That's a ninja movie trope, though, right? Like the ninja never dies. Like, isn't that
not like this? No, you kidding me? Like this was
like this immortal sense of a ninja. I always thought that was a trope. That is something that is just
okay. There's definitely there's a trope of that ninjas are stealthy and they're stealthy and they're dangerous. But for the most time, ninjas are usually used as disposable characters where they're used as like faceless henchmen.
Yeah, henchmen.
And whatever.
Yeah,
but not like in this where they're invincible. Like this, literally, this dude is just standing there as they're shooting him hundreds of times. That's why I said, is he undead? is he a zombie? Because he just keeps getting shot.
Yep.
And he takes out a smoke bomb, throws it down. He's gone. And the cops
Where'd he
like,
go?
Where'd he go? Oh, no. And then all of a sudden it's revealed that he was just magically able to hide in the sand.
Which is, I like this. This is a cool shot because you really can't see him.
No, it was kind of cool, but I was like, that's not possible or unbelievable.
Yeah.
But he pops back up. He gets caught again, and then they continue to shoot him.
No. He pretends he's dead. So he throws the first smoke bomb.
Right.
Well, he gets killed, quote, gets killed.
Oh, right, I forgot how many times he gets back up.
Yes,
okay.
yes, and then he gets back up, and then he buries himself in the sand. Everybody runs away because they don't know where he is or anything like that.
Okay.
And then he gets out of there and starts crawling away because he's slowly dying. And then we meet the heroine of our movie. Her name is Christy, because I couldn't tell you one name in this whole movie. It didn't really, some movies you walk away and Busta Rhymes' character, I think, was Freddy, and how.
Yes, I actually do remember that one because it was so ridiculous. So
exactly.
I remember that. Yeah.
This one, it was like, I don't really care to remember her name. So, we've got Christy, who looks like Sigourney Weaver.
Lucida Dickey.
Yes, and like I said, she looks like Sigourney Weaver, and it's funny because she was 24 when she made this flick, and she looks like she's at least in her like mid-30s.
Yeah, she looks like an older woman.
But that's how the 80s were. Like young Chopping Mall, for example. A lot of those people in Chopping Mall, I think, were a little bit older and they were playing younger people. So I guess
quote,
it passes.
Younger.
Yeah.
But she just happens to be working for, I don't know, the cable company or phone company or something.
It says Metro Telephone on her vehicle, I believe.
Okay, so
she's got that van. Remember,
yeah.
She drives the van around
but
and stuff.
Like they do that with cable and stuff too. So that's why I figured maybe cable or cell phone, whatever. But she's climbing a pole.
She's got a hard hat and she's got a belt, and that means she means business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She got all of the tools. But of course, her hair is perfect when she takes that helmet off. So her 80s hair is feathered and boofed and ready to go. But she just happens to do this glory shot of her taking her helmet off with her hair, like mine, if you could see mine right now and how it moves. It's just
flying in the wind.
Floating in the breeze. And then she looks over and goes, what is that? And just sees this ninja crawling over to her side.
He is just falling all over the place. He's tossing.
He's drunk.
Yeah. He honestly, he might have been drunk.
He swears the drunk he's not God. So he's over there falling around. So she's like, I guess go check that out. And she does.
Yeah, she heads over and she checks him out, and then he starts attacking her for some reason.
Right out of nowhere. And it's like a really weird, awkward kind of attack where he's not hitting her, he's not kicking her, but they're like wrestling, and it's weird. Mm-hmm. And then she finally gets away from him, and then he just starts spouting off random Japanese,
screaming
it to her. And for some reason, again, no sense in the movie, of course, she just turns around and starts like, maybe I should listen.
And she she like grabs his sword and kind of looks at him. And
she's like, okay. And then he's like holding the sword out to her like, you need this, take this. And he's still speaking Japanese, so you have no idea what he's saying, but he's like, take this. And then she's just like, you might have just tried to, beat me up or sexually assault me
or whatever.
But here, okay, I'll take that sword from you. So she takes the sword and then
and that's
and
it.
He dies.
So I was thinking in this film, this ninja has no redeemable qualities because think about the beginning of this film, okay? He just kills a bunch of random people, kills a bunch of police.
A ton.
He's trying to kill this woman.
Yes.
This man has literally, and then the flashback we see he kills somebody as well. So we're supposed to like, I guess, feel bad for this ninja. And
Well, it's never explained. It's never explained, like in the sense of why. At first, I thought it was a joke. I mean, the whole movie is a joke, but I thought like the plot. I thought they were kidding. I thought it was going to lead to something else, but no.
Yeah.
Literally, the entire movie was him killing a bunch of people, and then I guess being annoyed that he got stopped and got killed by the police.
And it's a revenge
It's
flick.
a revenge flick but revenge for what? Because
And
again,
why do you even get revenge since you're killing everybody?
Yeah, he's already killing everybody as it was, and he killed it. And there was no story of why he killed the dude in the first place.
Like,
why the ninja even went to a golf course to just go start killing somebody. It doesn't make any sense.
Logically, you don't get to kill hundreds of people and then you get killed and then you come back as a ghost that wants revenge? What are you talking about? You spent your
doesn't
whole
even
life
make any
killing
sense.
people.
It's just the beginning of the movie, like, and there's not even explained about why he's
No.
killing this. Like, there's no story of why there's a need for revenge, except for literally just that. Oh, I killed the guy, and the cops killed me. Now I need revenge. Like, that makes no sense.
Well, I think when they put the 3 in the title, I think that they thought that the person that was watching this hasn't seen the other 2 and thinks that they need to see. Because that's how, when we were watching this, I came into the film thinking, like, okay, there was definitely something that the ninja has, some kind of grudge or something like that the ninja has that maybe in the second or the first movie, like, he wants to get revenge for that. And that's because this guy, the scientist, he looks very, like, important, and he, like they say in the film, he looks like he's up to something. So, like, technically you're like, okay, well, you know, like, there's got to be some kind of backstory. We get none of that. And this woman as well, she's literally the most boring character I've ever seen. She's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, when it comes down to this woman, she is just, there's nothing really appealing about her or anything.
No.
So this is the beginning, though.
Cookie cutter 80s character.
Oh, cookie cutter. Like I said, she looks like Sigourney Weaver from Ghostbusters. I think this Ghostbusters was
84
as well. So we got a lot coming out that year. But so this is the beginning of these flashbacks that we just keep seeing throughout this freaking flick, dude.
And the flashbacks of all the cops that shot the dude who was on a murderous rampage. You know, like that's literally the flashback.
That's it. Like that's it. There's like
it's just the cops that shot him because he was, you know, killing everybody.
And like at this point, like you would think, and I thought maybe she's possessed and maybe she's just thinking the thoughts of the guy who just died.
Yeah,
or whatever.
that's what I was thinking as well at first, because then I'm like, but no, wait a minute, there's no way this could be that smart.
Yep.
And sure enough, it wasn't. It was
isn't.
instead something much more stupid.
Much more
Excuse me.
stupid,
Stupid, if you will. Excuse me.
Stupid.
Watch myself here.
So we go to the police headquarters
which I read in the
you
trivia.
read
Occasionally.
Nice.
I hate literacy, but I decided that women kind of dig men who look at books now and again. And so I decided that looking at just the pictures isn't going to cut it, because they start asking me questions about what my favorite book is, and I tell them, oh, it's, you know, Dr. Seuss's reading and coloring book.
All right.
So,
We got it.
I thought you cared about what I
don't
have
care
to say.
about your literacy.
Wow, that's
okay?
crazy.
Just tell me
That's
what's
crazy. I'm
going
going to
on.
remember that next time you start talking about your problems. Anyways, so I read on the trivia that this was actually a legit police station. They were able to film
Really?
that. Yeah.
It looks like one. They
It
did
does,
a good
which
job.
I'm surprised. So they, whatever poor bastard police department was agreeing to this, they probably had nothing else better to do in their county when they were like, yeah, sure, I guess so. You can film here. Who cares?
Well, what if there was like actual crime going on in that town? Do you think like they had to stop the shoot because they? I don't really know what police headquarters are for necessarily. Just a place for them to just.
Police headquarters are where usually the people, the officers have their desks and the detectives have their desks, and where people like
but
literally
I'm
it's their
saying,
home
is
base.
it a necessity when there's a crime? Or I don't, because they usually leave the police station to go to the.
Yeah, no, I
crime,
mean
so.
the office has nothing to do with actually stopping crime, as in the sense of like going out and doing it in the field.
It's just like the
headquarters is
bookkeeping,
literally
right? Yeah.
bookkeeping, and anything you do, like any part of your like their job of writing reports, investigative work,
Yes,
any of that kind of
these,
stuff.
Like we see
Yeah.
these people getting interviewed, which
Yeah.
really reminded me of Samurai
that.
Cop. You remember in Samurai Cop
Which
where
part?
I don't remember, but there's one extra I remember.
Do you like what you see?
He's got like the really long hair and the glasses, and he's getting interviewed. I don't know if you remember that scene. It's near the beginning
It's been a while.
It's near the beginning of the film, but it really reminds me of that. It's grody. It's kind of like it almost looks like very 70s, 80s, like the like the way that everything looks. It's got those like drop down ceilings and stuff like that.
Well, this one has this is a legit police station.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Sigourney Weaver is here. It's like giving a statement.
She's the exact, like, she's dressed up like she is, I think, in Aliens, where she's got the, like, wife beater tee. Yep. She's got the high-waisted pants, everything. But she meets this guy. His name is Secord.
Secord, yeah. This cop that won't stop harassing her. Like, to the point, like I was telling, this could be a whole other discussion, but there's some correlation between bad movies and, like, sexual assault and rape and all this, like, really weird, like, humor that has to do with just, like, completely breaking the boundaries of stuff that even to me, I think looks ridiculous in a movie. So, like, in this case, she's talking about, like, you know, what she saw, she's being interviewed, and this guy keeps trying to hammer her for a date. And
for no reason
like
at all,
except for just being like a sleazeball. Like, this woman literally,
she's gone through all this shit, and you're a cop, so like cops know they shouldn't interfere with their
and
work.
She's like, I don't date cops, and he's like, you know, still pushing. And literally before she leaves, he tries to shake her hand and then kiss it. Like, who? Like, some cop just starts kissing some woman's hand. It's like, it's already weird, but anyways, I digress. So
basically that whole scene is to essentially, one, briefly tell us about the scientist, which we get a small line about the scientist.
About, again, explains nothing.
Then we get introduced to Billy Secord, which is just the most, not generic, but I would say the most bizarre name choice for a cop. So, I don't know, it's just weird to me.
You don't know any cops named Billy?
No, I was saying, it was Secord. I've never encountered
Never met one?
No. And we go...
It's prejudicial.
From here, we go to, of course, the 1980s. A 1980s flick would not be complete without some aerobics, correct?
Yes. And which one, you ask? I don't know, because I lost track of how many aerobic scenes are in this movie.
No, there's a lot. And we get to her apartment. She's got this really cool arcade machine.
Yeah.
In her apartment for some reason.
That looks like a men's or a locker room at the local community pool. It's like a white brick.
Literally white
everywhere.
Like, white brick, and it's super like wide, and it almost looks like I said, it looks like you would see a shower. Any second you turn around, you could see a shower. Like, easily. The floor too is like straight concrete, and I don't think that's, you know, an apartment. At all.
This just reminded me of something else. You run into, I guess, her roommate or whoever the hell she is, because that chick is never seen or heard from again.
No.
She's literally used for like a minute, and that's it. Like, I don't know who the hell that one was, even who she's supposed to be. Is she supposed to be a friend?
I don't know. And then they end up going to aerobics class, and who's there? Billy just kind of creeping in the back, along with a bunch of other guys.
It's great. It is. This scene is amazing because literally the setup in the movie shows that, like, the aerobics class is happening right next to the weight sets, and these like 4 or 5 dudes are literally looking at these women that are doing their class like I look at a fried chicken and ice cream dinner, because they're over there.
Fried chicken ice cream?
Yeah. No, I said fried chicken and ice cream.
Oh, I thought you meant fried chicken flavored ice cream.
Don't tempt me now.
I feel like you would definitely be into that. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, all right, calm down, easy boy.
Yeah, relax,
big boy.
Relax. All right.
They're literally looking at it like a beautiful chicken, finger licking good chicken dinner. They're over there, like they're literally just as these women are bending over. They're salivating. They're literally drooling over these women as they're bending over, and I'm like, yo, that's fucking creepy. It's not off though from what I've seen in the gyms before, but there's just the extra layer of 80s because I've been
and
that
you've
dude.
Been. I was gonna say
multiple times.
Exactly.
I mean, you put a fine lady in front of me, and I pretty much lose all common sense, like any good man would. But in this scene, it's like ridiculously over the top, and I love it. That's hilarious. So she's teaching this aerobic class. What's his name? Billy Preston, whatever the hell his name is.
Billy is just annoying the shit out of her, And and like I said in this flick, and maybe this is controversial, but I wish that this fake reality where women are just so easily impressed by other men for the most nowadays the most annoying shit. I personally I kind of wish women were this easy.
Well, as we talk, literally most of these films are like porn without the sex.
Yes.
Because the fact that it goes from, oh, I'm here to fix the pipes. Oh, I don't have any money. Oh,
Yep,
well,
yep,
I've
yep,
got
yep.
some pipe for you then.
We'll get to
And it's
that
like
part.
instantly right into it. But no, the point being is that literally these movies do have the aspect of porn logic where it's like
Fairy porn.
you just easily convince any woman to just get right into it. Like just head first, cannonball, diving board right off into a kiddie swimming pool, head first right into it, no problem. And it's like, I wish that was reality too. But
well, to be like a critic of this film when it comes to that, you know, it makes women look like they're stupid as hell. It basically makes them see that they have no critical thinking skills, that they just automatically are, I guess, bamboozled. Is that the word? No, probably not.
No, you can say bamboozled. I mean,
very surprised.
What you're talking about it's literally, what else is it? It's just exactly how the movie industry had treated women and still does in certain respects, depending on the film and how it's doing. I mean, just like the point of the aerobics class. What are you watching? Well, most of it is them bending over in super tight leotards, and most of what is in the movie, they're like half naked, just taking a shower, this or that. So like, are we really surprised that, you know?
Well, like, think about
that in the sense of the man and female dynamics of a relationship is harasser, and then all of a sudden she's like, I kind of like that. So.
Well, Christy's independent. She lives by herself. She works at this job that's not considered, quote, feminine. So part of me is like, she should have those critical thinking skills where she's like, I don't want anything to do with you, which she does, but she doesn't enforce it. She kind of gives up her guard, and not bamboozled, I was thinking, more like swept away. She literally gets swept away from this guy for no reason.
If you mean like that, yeah, bamboozled is something that's the opposite of being swept away.
Bamboozled,
Bamboozled is like being conned.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I thought bamboozled was like being surprised and kind of being like caught off guard or something.
No. Bamboozled's like, you bamboozled me, like it's like you conned me kind of thing.
Well,
I got bamboozled.
So to move into that, this movie kind of swept me away because she leaves the aerobics studio, and who's outside?
Oh, this is the best. Well, okay, so she comes out literally into like the alleyway next to the gym, daytime. The four dudes that were salivating over the aerobics class.
This is in the middle of the day.
Middle of the day.
Sun is shining.
Sun is shining, and people are leaving the gym.
Yep.
It's not like there's no one around. The four dudes that were salivating over the aerobics class are harassing this woman right by the exit door.
And these dudes are dressed up like they dressed up to work out, but
dressed up to work out, but they've got their tracksuits on. Like I said, one looks like a beefed up little dickie, and there's a couple other dudes, and they're harassing this woman.
One dude looks like Mick Jagger kind of too.
Yeah, the one creepy skeleton looking guy.
Yeah, with the bandana on his head or whatever.
So they're harassing this woman, obviously for sex. That isn't happening. So of course she's like, oh, I got to do something. And she comes over to stop them. And then they start harassing her, which again then pans over to show that there's like a group of like 30 people just standing there watching this as these guys are like, you know, oh, we're going to save you for dessert. And, you know, all this like, you know, really rapey stuff. And I'm like, well, we're both sitting there like, what the fuck is going on here?
Well, I was thinking, are there adult bullies? Because this is essentially what an adult bully is. Like,
yeah, it was like high school. It's like a high school bully scene in any like show or TV show or movie. But in this case, it has them like, you know, trying to sexually assault her, but in front of 30 people in broad daylight outside the alleyway, then leads to a really weird and clunky action scene where she single-handedly takes down all four of them.
She beats the shit out of them, and this is a great scene.
With the weird, awkward karate that's throwing them everywhere, and then she breaks a bar off of off the railing that she was grabbing onto to kick them with. She grabs a piece of the bar and hits them with it, and beats them all up. And then just so happens, what's our boy Billy Preskin or whatever the hell his name is?
Billy
Secord. Secord. He happens to be in the audience there watching her, and so she runs into him, and he takes her with him.
You're under arrest.
You're under arrest.
Which doesn't make any sense. Because like she was defending herself because she was getting attacked. So.
Literally no. He was standing there like it wasn't like a. things that happen where it's a he said, she said, no one really watched it. In this case, in the way the scene plays out, literally your 20 or 30 people are standing there watching the entire time, and she's getting harassed by 4 dudes that want, like, non-consensual sex from her or whatever. And then he's just like, yeah, you're under arrest because, the assault you've put on these guys.
Well, this makes no sense. Why is she ending up being attracted to him because of something that she did? He didn't step in.
Yeah, he did nothing. Yes,
he did nothing.
That's also true. I was even thinking about that. He did not, and he's a cop.
He just.
I just thought, he's a cop.
And
he didn't do anything.
There and watched it happen.
I just thought, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about that. He's a cop. He didn't even help.
Yep, and then drives her home, and she's somehow more attracted. Like I said, this movie is making women seem like the dumbest.
Well, remember the entire car ride is first, I could be arresting you. No, I'm just joking. And then she, rebuffing him further and further. He gets so pissed, he freaks out and yells at her to get out of his car. And then all of a sudden, she just 180s and is like, I like you. And I don't have any coffee, but I have stuff at home if you want to come back to my place.
Yep. So she takes a shower, and of course she gets naked. And
takes a shower. Man's in her place for like 5 seconds. She just immediately doesn't even like, hey, let's kind of hang out or whatever. She immediately comes out in a towel from a shower.
She's pouring some drinks, specifically.
Oh, yes, please, let me get in this. She is talking about how she has no coffee, but she has some V8 juice.
Because coffee is not good for your body.
It's not good for your body, so remember that. I'm thinking to myself, okay, the very fact she mentioned V8 juice means that something is going to happen. Most likely got some deal from V8, got some sponsorship, some funding, whatever.
I mean, you're not renting a helicopter without a V8 sponsorship.
Oh, absolutely. Think about how much money is in V8 juice, that tomato juice. That's just, raking in the... That's why tomatoes are half red, half green. You know what side he got? He got the green part.
Ooh.
Yeah. So
you were thinking about that throughout the whole
movie.
Movie. Just to tell this joke.
This is hands down. I know the ninja scene in the beginning was great, but this really is my favorite part of this movie because you heard how loud and obnoxious I got about it. So she does this 180, literally, is taking off her clothes, giving him a little show. He's over there going, He takes off. He looks
like he's never seen a naked
woman
before.
Yeah, she was literally like, he just screamed in his pants. He's like, and she throws him back into the couch and literally just starts going to town with them, obviously getting ready to have sex.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, bear with me. So this bitch. And I did say that, yes, because this bitch pulls out a V8 juice with the label pointed out, so you clearly say V8.
Oh, holding it like a commercial.
Holding like a commercial. And I'm thinking at first, okay, that's really weird, but she's going to drink some and then, onto... No, she pours it onto her chest. She pours the V8 juice onto her chest. And I'm thinking, at first, I'm still thinking, oh, okay, maybe this is a mistake. I think you pointed out maybe she's messing with him or something.
Yeah.
And no, she pours it on her chest and then pulls him back on top of her so he can lick the V8 juice off of her tits.
And he proceeds to.
And he does. The man licks V8 juice off of her titties. Do you understand these words coming out of my mouth? I literally...
It looks like blood. Specifically looks like period blood.
It looks disgusting. What was the last time you slathered a smoothie all over your ass and you had a woman lick it off of you?
Yeah.
Right? No, I didn't think so.
No.
Go to the juice bar and say, "Yo, hey, baby, could you just pour this on my my man titties and you can just start licking it off?"
Is this what vegans do secretly?
That you know what? Oh my God, you're probably right.
I think this is what
Holy
vegans
crap.
do.
Oh my God, that's you know what? You're onto something. I think this is what vegans do.
So after a very sexual vegan night,
Yes.
They're both sleeping, and the window opens, and fog rolls in.
Oh.
And this is one of the first of many scenes where she is kind of almost summoned by a ghost, I guess. We don't know.
Never explained. All it is
No.
just a flimsy ass katana sword that is in her closet that I can clearly tell, in my opinion, that some stagehands or whoever, key grips, whoever is on the crew are off camera, literally holding the sword up and shaking it around.
Yep.
And she's having like
Until
a
it starts
sexual
floating.
experience.
And
yes.
then when it starts floating, it's obviously
String.
a bunch of strings. So she's kind of holding this, and this giant gust of wind is blowing her eyes, and she's somehow, which we didn't explain in the beginning, we can explain now. She gets like eyeliner, I guess, because the ninja in the beginning has eyeliner for some reason, like actual makeup eyeliner, like literally drawn around his eyes.
Okay, now here's what I think. Literally, the ninja at the beginning had the eyeliner around his eyes, and then made it look weird already. But personally, I think they were really going with the racist angle of that. Now that she's getting possessed by the ninja, she's getting more slant-eyed.
Because she does. Every time she's holding the sword, her eyes like get very
squinty for
yeah.
no reason, and her eyebrows are like smaller and they're more defined, and her
I
eyes.
think she's physically closing her eyes more too.
Yes,
you could tell
as well. So that already, I'm like, oh my god, this movie cannot be doing this. But sure enough, it is.
And then we get more flashbacks as well. Every time she grabs the damn sword,
more flashbacks of people that killed the ninja because he was murdering everyone, but.
But I guess we care about the ninja. That's that's what I was saying about earlier, is that like this movie has this weird narrative where they're like, audience, like this ninja got attacked by the police. Like, no, he attacked the police. Like, it's a different perspective of what happened. But
actually, to your point, like you said earlier, I actually did think that there was some kind of weird, like, oh, she's just experiencing the ninja's memories.
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not
that's too sophisticated for this. So.
Well, because this movie's and the title has nothing to do with a possession.
Nothing.
So,
but I will
whatever.
give IMDb credit. The synopsis or the little tagline.
Somebody wrote that, though. I don't think that was
but
written by the film.
But no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if we read this beforehand, we would have known that this what
it was about.
Because it says, an evil ninja attempts to avenge his death from beyond the grave by possessing an innocent woman's body.
Yeah, I knew it had something to do with spirits, but it's whatever. But she ends up waking up whatever the C-chord. This man has one of the most hairy backs in cinema history.
It is literally like a never-ending road of hair, because first it's like, oh, it's his back, and then it goes up and down his shoulders, it goes all the way up and down his arms, and then it's on his
like
chest,
thick
everywhere. It's
like
thick.
thick and like scraggly, like it goes out.
Everywhere. That's what I'm saying. It literally is going all over his body. It's all over his body. It's gross. I don't like being about that stuff, but it's gross, man. Okay, gotta do something about that.
At this point, I thought that maybe he was gonna die, like she was gonna kill him.
Yeah, so did I. I thought, okay, it's gonna be over.
Because like later in the flick, we do get that where she's having these like weird flashbacks, then she ends up killing people. But nope, it goes to an airport where we see our one main protagonist. His name is Yamada.
Yeah.
And we were looking at his history. This man played, first of all, his first acting role was in The Godfather Part 2 as a passerby in coat with cap pulled down.
Nice.
Very specific, thank you. And then he was in a flick called Bruce Lee Fights Back from the Grave.
Oh my God. One of the many Bruce Lee exploitation movies of the 70s after his death.
Oh, yeah.
And it went well into the 80s, too. So.
And he was also in the first two films. And I want to say one more thing.
As different characters, by the way.
Yes, complete. Because none of these movies, like you said, are related, which is
nothing to do with each
unfortunate, but it is what it is. He was in. Do you ever see have you ever seen the Bad News Bears movie?
Which one? I mean, the old one or the?
Yeah, the one with Walter Matthau, I believe it was.
Not seen it fully, but I know of it.
Well, there was a sequel called The Bad News Bears Go to Japan, and I guess he was in this.
Go to Japan?
Yes, that was one of them. There was, I believe there was a couple sequels of those films. Yep, The Bad News Bears in Breaking Training.
That's
and
awful.
The original Bad News Bears, and as well as the Japan one.
I don't think so. No, thank you.
No, it's not worth going your time.
Homeboy has a eye patch, if you will.
Yes.
And the eye patch looks like a bottle top for a can of Coca-Cola.
I don't
and I read that it was his idea for the eye patch.
Ah.
So I wonder why. They're
that
probably like, he's probably like, oh, I like this. This looks mysterious and cool. And they're probably like, yeah, I guess, man. If you want to, go ahead. Because I was reading, he was also the choreographer for this movie. Because he's an actual martial artist.
He was.
Yeah.
Yes. So he ends up meeting a bunch of people. We don't know what's going on with him quite yet. It's just kind of his very mysterious introduction. We don't know what's going on. We cut back and
Stereotypically Japanese, just real quick, because
100%.
it comes off the plane and there's just 3 Japanese dudes in traditional Japanese clothing.
Yep.
With the music playing, going high, bowing, and it just can't get any more.
And their voices are completely dubbed. It's super
big
bad.
time.
Yeah. So then the next really big scene, there's some little filler here and there, but there is a scene where she's back in her apartment. We're ready for round 2 of the possession as well. Very similar to Poltergeist. So we get a Poltergeist scene at the end, near the end, that I'll talk about. But this is the one with the arcade machine.
Ah, yes.
So the arcade machine, we get introduced to it in the beginning, and I was like, okay, I'm not saying it's a good movie, but in most movies, there is like, and we were taught this in my screenwriting class, when you put something into a film, you either make use of it or you don't put it in the film. Like, everything has its purpose. Like, there's a reason why you don't just have random characters or whatever. I mean, this film, we get random characters. Who gives a shit? But isn't that funny, though? The beginning with her friend, we don't really go back and know what happens to her, and there's really no
not
use
even
for
like
her.
It doesn't even like explain that she is just a throwaway friend, like who just happens to be there.
Not
Honestly, I assumed that friend was going to be there the rest of the movie because of how usually these setups are.
No, but the arcade machine, though, gets
It's still there,
gets,
front and center.
He gets his time to shine because I don't know how to really say this. The arcade machine becomes possessed, I believe.
Yeah, it comes to life in the way of a stagehand or somebody, most likely hollowing out the inside. There's no screen, there's no screen on it.
There's a fog machine.
There's
in
a
there
fog
too.
machine and a couple strobe lights you can find at Party City that are flashing out of it. So telltale. And then she's just standing there, and these lights are just blasting in her face, and she's just like.
Looks like a Pink Floyd like
concert
light show. Yeah, it's really weird and trippy, but she gets kind of attacked by these lasers, and so she is attacked by the sword again that comes out of the closet. But this is the time that she accepts her fate, grabs the sword, and heads off to the cave. So she drives to this cave where she somehow knows exactly where the cave is.
Yep.
Never explained whatsoever.
Don't worry about it.
So she gets all of the weapons from the cave, of course. She stocks up, and like you said, it's like Call of Duty.
Yep.
How like
it's respawn, like, because AC was like, how is it like it's all restocked? Where I'm like, yeah, just like, Call of Duty, whatever. When you die and you respawn, you're reloaded. Everything's restocked. You're all good to go.
Or she used a cheat code. She could have used a cheat code.
Very true. She could have used that too.
So she ends up going to one of the cops who ended up killing the ninja towards the end of it, and this dude is just chilling at home, I guess. He's
playing
just
pool,
hanging out, playing pool in his underwear, and it's those old man underwear though. He's wearing like a wife beater and like
old man underwear.
Old man underwear
is just, I guess, the way to live.
The most stereotypical way. That's a new word instead of classic. I'm going to say the most stereotypical. Yes.
We'll see, because right now classic is it's up there.
It's still up there. See episode, what was that? Oh, God.
75.1.
Yes, Theodore Rex, if you're interested.
That's right, Theodore Rex, one of my favorite classic moments of all time.
Yeah, we should make a compilation of the best moments on this
the most
podcast.
classic moments, you mean?
And the only thing it would be is just that.
It's just Theodore Rex.
Repeated over and over again.
Over and over again, please. Yeah, but so she goes to kill that cop in his underwear in the pool.
We don't know his name because you know what? The movie doesn't give a shit.
Doesn't care, except for showing you this flashback of that he was one of the cops who stopped the homicidal ninja.
Yep.
But that doesn't matter. So she kills him.
Yeah.
As the possessed ninja kills him. So off with, done
See,
with that.
This could have been a cool like revenge movie, kind of like we were talking about earlier, like Death Wish. So it's like, Charles Bronson, he actually has a reason why he wants to get back at these people that raped and killed his wife and whatever. Whereas this, it's just like, you're only mad because you wanted to kill a bunch of people and you didn't get away with it.
Still doesn't make any sense. Still doesn't have any, we're just making sense of it to explain it. That's the only reason that we can do that, because besides that, there's no reason.
The audience is just left on their own accord.
Left to fend for themselves, really, actually.
Exactly.
They're just baby birds being kicked out of the nest.
Baby bird.
Little baby bird. Someone remembers.
How about that? Let's also see our episode on Anaconda.
That's right. All day long.
All day long. So I love this one part because this is exactly like the beginning, where in the beginning the ninja squeezes a golf ball to kind of show his dominance, the domination.
That's right.
Domination. And now she squeezes and I think this is why he was playing pool. They were like, you know what, we got to find another way. Because think about it, both of these people when they're killed, the beginning playing golf, playing billiards, all these people are just playing like I guess
enjoying their lives.
Billiards isn't a sport, but it is.
Technically, it is because it's a competitive thing that people actually.
You were quick to defend that. Have you gotten into arguments about like?
Well, the reason why is because I do dumbass like side. I get competitive about anything, so it no matter what it is. So I literally have played pool, poker, miniature golf, and all that other stuff, which can be competitive and actually has competitions where you can win money. So it's like,
but
technically,
to get into it, can anything that's competitive be considered a sport?
Well, yeah, I would say yes, but usually sports include something physical, and technically billiards or pool is physical. That's why I think at the very minimal it can be called a sport.
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
I'm just picking on you.
Here,
I'm
please.
just picking on you.
Pool is a classification of cue sports played on a table with 6 pockets along the rails in which balls are deposited. So,
in this fake news generation, can you read where that is from? What specific website that
Wikipedia.
Is? Okay. So Wikipedia declares that it is a sport. So in the beginning,
but let's make it clear. Cue sports, sometimes written as cue sports as one word, also known as billiard sports, are a wide variety of games of skill, generally played with a cue stick, which is used to strike billiard balls and therefore causing them to move on.
It's sports. I would say it's a sport.
So
though.
It's technically considered a sport. Like I said, do I really firmly? It's like I think bowling can be called a sport too.
Yeah.
Yep. That's bowling is it? Yeah.
Table tennis could also be one.
So technically, in the loosest term, it is a sport.
It is a sport. So these people keep getting
on that.
They keep on getting killed while they're playing sports. I guess this film has a very anti-athlete.
Well, remember, you were also impressed. I think what you said about they wanted to get some cool shots. You forgot also about how you giggled when she cut the pool ball in half.
Yes, that's right.
Too.
Right.
So.
Around this time, she cut. Yeah, which is just so goofy and kind of cool to see a golf ball or a billiards. What are they called? Pool ball? I don't know if there's a specific term, Mr. Competitive over there.
I
Billiards
think
ball.
I'll let you flop on this one.
Yeah, it just cuts a ball in half. Okay, that's it. So, fucking kicks this dude out the window, which is
right out
awesome.
The window. Great.
And we don't know, like, I don't know. I feel like as an audience, like, it's like we'll see later. We don't know exactly if this is her or if this is the ninja. Remember we were saying that like maybe she was doing this for the spirit of the ninja, but then we learned that she actually gets possessed by the ninja.
Yeah, so I thought what the entire thing was that she was getting so-called possessed by the ninja, and then the ninja through her body was killing these people.
Was doing the dirty deeds.
Which is really stupid, by the way, but that's the point of the movie.
Officer Billy shows up, of course, wondering what's going on, and there's somebody in the crowd of people, which is amazing.
Yep.
There's bystanders. When anything happens in this movie, there's a bunch of bystanders. I think this group of people is the same people who were outside the aerobics studio, I believe.
Probably.
They look almost
Wouldn't be surprised,
the same.
because probably most likely the filmmakers are like, we need another crowd of people. Just get those people we had doing extra work. Because remember, they'd use the same crowd of people for us, where Wolf Boy and other stuff.
Yeah, they just kept recycling them and putting them in different positions. But so then we get back to the police station where Billy is having her get some tests done because she doesn't know what's going on, what's going on in her head and all this kind of stuff. So she's doing all these tests and trying to see if she's going crazy and whatever. While also, he is hairy again. He's got a wife beater on.
God, don't.
It is bad. She's got all these like bruises all over her body, which like at first you would think that like maybe she's in this. I mean, I could see Billy being a little bit abusive because this dude like pushed himself onto her essentially.
Well, yeah. Well, the best part is that it's just so casual. It's like, I don't remember. I don't know.
Yeah, she's like, I don't remember, and I have bruises on me.
Yeah,
like, how is the doctor not like, Billy, get the hell away from her?
I don't know. I black out for hours. Like, you wouldn't be like, are you all right?
Are you okay?
He's just like, whatever. She's saying I black out for hours. I don't remember. I don't know. It's like, okay, this is already getting weird.
So then we cut to this like weird hot shot cop who I guess just is so good with women. He's this older man, too.
Oh, yeah, this is great. I read that these are supposedly hookers, so I guess that's why. But still.
Why are...
But still, why? Like, how does that even make it any better? Because, like, literally they have this shot of one of the cops that killed the ninja walking with 2 women attached to his...
outside of the police station. So he's literally with hookers inside a police station. What kind of police force is this?
I don't even know. He's literally walking around with these 2 women attached to his side, like nothing. Like he's just like he's Hugh Hefner of the Playboy Mansion. Like that doesn't make any sense at all. Like even if he was corrupt, it wouldn't make sense. But he's just like walking around with just 2 women.
Yeah.
In his cop uniform. Let's specify that in his cop uniform.
Oh yeah.
So.
That's
she,
how
all of a sudden,
women, though, yeah.
she starts, having more flashbacks. So here comes in. There's another guy who shot the ninja.
She follows them into this weird spa, I guess.
Yes.
For some reason.
Weird spa. This guy's having some weird menage a trois in a jacuzzi back office space, whatever. It's all weird.
It's the only thing in the room. It's a really weird situation.
He's sitting there, and they're kind of grossly making out or whatever, and she just shows up all in black, and he's just mesmerized by this all in black chick, and the other chicks are getting jealous because he's not caring about them.
Yep, so she walks down and gives him a kiss.
Literally just runs over and starts making out with this guy. And then while he's distracted, she pulls out like this ring thing on her finger that has a little prick of a point.
Very small.
The tiny, not even like a huge deal. And she takes off the top and then stabs him with it, and he just like instantly dies.
Yep.
So
he
obviously
instantly dies, and then she kills.
Yeah, she kills the other 2, and they're like, "What are you doing? What are you doing to him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, what is this?"
And then what did you call the one dude with the eye patch? One-Eyed Jack, I think.
I call him One-Eyed Jack.
Yeah, he ends up going into the spa, somehow knowing she
exactly
was there,
that she was at this one.
Takes some of the blood up and kind of like smells it and like has a trail on her, I guess.
Just deduces, this is definitely the work of the black, and then I'm saying it because this is the name specifically on IMDb, the Black Ninja.
And they say it in the movie.
Yes, Black Ninja.
Saying it, yeah.
He must know the Black Ninja is near because he just came in and licked some blood, and that was it. So good.
So
enough.
she's back. So we cut back to her apartment, and she's kind of like having a midlife crisis. She's dancing, doing her aerobics shit, and like just
freaking out,
flaunting around, not sure exactly what happened. And of course, Billy Boy comes in and is like, "Hey, you know what? I know this random guy.
Yep, I know this random guy. He'll be able to help you. He's
shaman.
super ancient China. Shaman, ancient China." Asian.
Asian, yeah.
Asian. And she's like, "Oh, I guess so. Okay, whatever."
So, I thought that Billy was taking her, like, to an old, like, kind of antique shop so she can, like, recall her memory or something. Because he keeps saying, like, you have all these memories. And
that's something stupid.
Remember that one part when, like, earlier when she was at the doctor's getting examined? I remember the doctor was like, you have a fascination for Japanese stuff.
Yeah, Japanese culture or whatever. I'm like, that is such a stupid thing to say.
She was like, that's not odd.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, so I thought...
They come into this so-called, like, I don't even know what you want to call it, this weird shaman shop.
Like
but
it's like almost a temple, kind of.
Yeah, like temple, like, but it's weird. Of course, stereotypically Asian. You got the music playing. The woman who's so-called, like, the receptionist is sounding super Japanese in the, stereotypical way. But most likely, we were talking, looks like a white chick who they probably just dubbed over.
And you can't even see her that well either. And
everything's so dark, you can't even see her, which I think that was on purpose.
Yep.
And lo and behold, my boy, the shaman man himself, fucking James Hong, comes out, who, if anyone doesn't know James Hong is a careered character actor who's been doing Asian roles for, God, I think he has 200, I think it's 280 credits on IMDb, and he's still alive as far as I know. I think he's like 89.
Yes.
He's been working since literally like the 40s or 50s. I remember seeing him in episodes of Perry Mason, if anyone's ever seen that. That's an old detective that's an old law show from the 40s and 50s. 50s and 60s. And so he's been doing stuff since then, and he's been doing pretty much primarily when it's like, we need an Asian guy for this one. They're like, James Hong, let's get that guy.
Yeah, I remember him in was that movie? The Golden Child. It was an Eddie Murphy flick.
That totally
really
makes
bad,
sense.
really
Yep, that
bad
sounds
flick,
like one
but
that he would have done.
He was in that. I do remember.
He's
but
still doing that to this day too. He's still doing roles and movies and TV shows. It's still like that stereotypical Asian guy they need.
It's like a character.
And he's been everything too. It's like it depends on what they want. Like most of the time it's Chinese, of course, but they'll throw in like there's one time he was a Japanese general. Like, have you seen Airplane?
Yeah, of course.
Remember when
the guy who stabs himself?
That's him.
Yeah.
So,
we were talking about that.
So he's done stuff like that, and then other like Thai. It's like because it's just like, hey, they're all the same. Who cares?
That's pretty much the mindset.
It's all
this
the same.
reminds me, real quick, Chopping Mall. We watched that last week.
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Last week, yeah.
In Chopping Mall, there's a guy I believe he's the janitor. Remember the janitor who's cleaning up the puke?
Yep.
Apparently, it's that guy, or it might have been one of the scientists, but I believe it's the janitor. That guy, whoever the actor is, he has the same name in like almost every movie, and he was in what would you say? You were saying the Terminator? Yeah, but he's in a bunch of other film.
Gremlins. He's in a couple.
Yeah, and he always has the same name. I believe it's Larry something, but I looked it up, and on his IMDb, he has the same name as an extra in like all of these different films, which is so odd. But kind of cool. It's like character actor, like kind of like reminded me of James Hong.
Yeah,
in a sense. But
it's definitely So my boy he has the pleasure of being in this movie for what reason besides money? That was obviously enough.
He's an Asian, so according to this movie's logic, he's an Asian, so he obviously is a shaman and knows how to get a demon or spirit out of a woman. So.
A Japanese, mind you, a Japanese ninja demon, which. He just so happens to know about.
He knows everything because even after this occurrence, at the end of this, remember, he kind of points to whatever her name is, or Billy or whatever, and kind of just basically knows random stuff out of nowhere.
Right. So he begins the exorcism, which is stereotypically they chain her up, they put cuffs on her and everything. And sure enough, this is where the poltergeist exorcism part comes in, which is just really ridiculous because it turns into this fog machine.
It's
lightning,
The Exorcist. It's literally the movie The Exorcist.
Lightning, thunder, noises.
They put like pale makeup on her too, and all.
Yeah,
this.
Pale makeup. She's making a bunch of faces, freaking out, and he's James Hong is losing it. The what's his name? Billy, whatever his name is, Billy Jackoff. He is pretty calm for the entire thing. He's just totally chill about it.
He's
sitting
hanging
in the
out,
corner.
yeah.
He's just hanging out. She's freaking out. The best part of it, in my opinion, was when she starts doing the flips. She's suspended with these cables and stuff. And
so her hands are tied up, and she's just still like doing flips.
And she's literally just doing flips in the air. Like if you just took like or have you ever seen someone do gymnastics and they're on the pole and they start doing spinning and they're spinning?
Or the hoops or the circle things. You ever see those things?
I know what you're talking about. I'm trying to remember what those are called.
I don't know.
I know what those are called, but the point is literally doing these flips in the middle of nothing. In the middle of the room, and it's freaking ridiculous. James Hong's freaking out. They have him suspended up on a wall like he's being pushed back with like the power of the possession. And
there's like these weird demon noises, witch noises. There's like
laughing and
not needed in this flick.
Dark demon voices coming out of her saying, she's mine, or I'm gonna get my revenge. It's just all out of place, makes no sense. Like it doesn't even explain anything. Finally, she calms down with the so-called demon in her, and what's his name? Billy's like, "Oh, you gotta fix her," and he's like, "Oh, no, I can't do it because it's just so powerful, super duper number one, Japanese spirit death." It's like, it doesn't make any sense, and so he's just like, "Oh, get out." So he takes her and they get out.
So they leave, and then we see One-Eyed Jack breaking into I guess it's a morgue. But what's weird to me is he's standing on top of the building and it says X-ray behind him.
Yeah.
So I thought maybe he was at the hospital, but I guess there's a morgue. Are there morgues in hospitals? I don't.
Most of the time, I believe they are. They're just in certain levels. Yeah, I mean, think about it, man. Most of the time.
That's kind of weird, dude. Like you go to like an ER.
I think it depends on the hospital because some hospitals will have the morgue in the basement. Sometimes you have to actually take bodies that people that don't make it.
I thought morgue was like a separate place that you.
I think they can be. It depends. It depends on the place. And that's my opinion, right? My uneducated.
We have a morgue expert on
right here on the panel. Well, the times I've interacted with morgue settings or whatever is they have been attached to the hospital.
Okay. So he breaks into this hospital, and
by breaking in, he literally fights everybody for
you
no
said
reason.
his martial arts was good, right?
Yeah, not
This
bad.
guy?
Like as I was like, okay, let me say good. I'm gonna say not bad for what I was expecting. I was expecting like absolute garbage, but he actually wasn't that bad. So, but he literally beats up like 5 or 6 security guards that just all happen to be at this hospital for some reason.
And yeah, for some reason they're just hanging out there. And he comes across the black ninja who is dead, and he
Super dead.
pulls him out of the I don't know what those are called, the things in the wall where they keep the bodies, and then
It's
you pull
like
them out.
the freezer, the fridge
Yeah.
for him. They, the bodies are on the slab.
He pulls
And
them
then he pulls
out,
them out
and
and-
we get a flashback to what happened. Which
To
was-
him, not to the other, but to him when he was, I don't know, a diamond. None of it's explained. He's in a traditional Japanese outfit in a forest, and he's getting like murdered, or they're trying
he's
to murder
getting
him.
like held up.
Yeah,
like he's
drawn
getting
and quartered is what I think that's
while
called.
somebody in front of him is getting murdered.
Yeah, and then homeboy Black Ninja throws a throwing star right into his face.
And
to his
that's
eye,
how
so
he
that's
got
why
it.
he got the eye patch. Oh.
Yeah, I guess. So he takes the body and goes up to this mountain. I guess he's just kind of hanging out there with the body for some reason.
Which I read that it said that was achieved by having a matinee painting. That some shots were. Remember that you were like, oh, the temple.
For
You're
the
like,
temple. That's what I was
like,
saying. It looked
some of it
off.
was matinee.
It
matinee
looked
painting.
very off.
So
good job on them, though. It kind of looked good, but I could tell it was kind of off. But we get back to her apartment, and we get, as I called it, the poltergeist scene.
again,
Very long and drawn out scene.
the third time.
Like we get it already by this point, you know? Like it's that's why I say this movie is very frustrating, because it's like it's the same shit over and over.
Like real quick, think about good movies that have to do with someone like breaking down over the course of the film. Usually, each time there's another breakdown or something else that's making them question their sanity, it usually is like slowly building to getting worse.
Yes.
This is literally like just the same
It's
shit.
the same shit, but
It's just
different ways of doing
and
it.
it's just more stupid most of the time. So we got this is the next one, the latest meltdown she has.
You've seen Poltergeist, right?
No, not fully.
Okay, well, there's like
I just know about the one guy who looks like a skeleton, the old guy with the
yeah,
teeth.
yeah. Well, there's a famous scene though in it where the daughter, I think her name's Caroline, she gets sucked into the closet. Like that's like the whole premise of it. The closet opens and it sucks her in. It sucks in everything. It's a really cool effect. Well, they do the same thing here, and the closet opens, smoke pours out, and she gets pulled in, and like it's the exact same thing. So I guess from there she goes to this funeral. Billy's kind of doing a little bit of investigating, actually being a cop. Good for him. And he finds her truck and finds the ninja stars in her truck, and there's a funeral right nearby. How conveniently.
So convenient.
Now this funeral is for.
I don't even know.
Is it for the both of them? Because she's already
Dude,
killed
I have
two
no. I
cops.
literally was just sitting there going, "Who the hell is this funeral even for?" Like, I know they kept flashing back to the cops that are at the funeral. That she's got to kill him, but I wasn't even like, "Who is this funeral even for?"
And I think some of the extras are the same people that were the bystanders
Wouldn't be surprised.
of of the
Wouldn't be
previous
surprised at all.
crime scene. So she ends up killing two more cops there. Her idea was to kill those two cops. Remember, there was two cops that were introduced a little bit earlier. We didn't really discuss, but who cares?
No one.
Nobody does. But she ends up just killing the rest of them, I guess, and just continues her crime spree.
Yep, more just like ridiculous deaths. Kills the cigar chomp. One of my favorite, the cigar chomping black police officer there.
Yep, always has a cigar in that mouth.
Love it.
Always.
Love it.
And she gets chased by One-Eyed Jack, who comes out of nowhere, chases
because he
her.
just continues to just keep popping up. Like he's just, I guess he knows
Like, hey,
exactly
you're back in the
everything is.
movie now. Come on back in, So she gets chased into this old. Well, no, it's not really old. It's like a house that's under construction. Remember, we were saying it looks very similar to Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Oh no, when
the
you're
final
saying
scene.
like construction. Now I got okay, yeah. I was like, why? What is it with these stupid? It's always something like this.
It is,
I'm
but
like,
it
I
looks
don't need
boarded
to-
up because there's a scene. So she's getting chased by him, and she goes into it, and he's trying to get in and punching through the wood.
Yeah.
There's like wood that's in like an X, and I'm like, that's not a construction place.
Yeah, you know
it
why?
might have
'Cause
just been
most likely they probably just broke into some
I think it's like a
condemned building,
I
and
think
they're
it
like,
is.
"Oh, we're gonna film here. This is great. No one's gonna care."
Yep, and I think that's what it is. It's a condemned building. So they play a little bit of cat and mouse. I guess there's not too much to talk about this scene. There's just
No.
I don't know.
Whatever he chases her, it's like whatever.
Yeah,
You know.
and then eventually he gets caught. Actually, she gets away,
Mm-hmm.
and One-Eyed Jack talks to Billy and is like, Billy, go to this old temple on
Yes,
the hill.
he's just like, you don't even know me. I'm just some weird one-eyed, Japanese
Yeah,
dude.
thinking about that, like he doesn't know her at
He's
all.
like,
or
we'll go
know
in the
him.
temple. Go to the temple, and she'll be saved from the black ninja spirit.
And Billy's like, well, wait, but what about you? And he's like, I'll get out of it. So then he ends up killing all these cops in the car, which is kind of a cool scene.
Yeah.
And shoots them with, I guess he's got like blow darts, but like in his mouth. Or
Yeah,
something
like
that.
don't even question what's going on. It's just whatever. Life finds a way, I guess, in this movie.
I guess so. So now Billy's on this life quest or something. He's taking it so seriously. He's got to go kidnap her and bring her to the old temple.
Mm-hmm.
Which is this weird scene. He kind of confronts her and holds a gun up to her, and it's just doesn't look right. Billy holding a gun, he doesn't look like a cop though. To
No.
me, not really.
Oh, to me, he doesn't look like a cop when he's not in the uniform.
Yeah, but when he's in uniform, he does.
Yeah,
You're
but
right,
any
you're right.
other time, it's like this dude looks like the least threatening, the least authoritative, person at all, especially with that body hair.
So we get to this old temple, and this is why I was saying that, why it looks weird, because I'll have to pause it and show you one time, but the background of it cuts off right around the doors, and I noticed because they have a zoom in close up of him closing the doors and looking out and stuff like that. So I knew it was two different set pieces, and thank God for that IMDb trivia that we're able to confirm that.
Yeah.
Because
think
it just
about it.
looked
That's actually
odd.
what they literally do now. Is they do the same thing, but now it's with CGI.
CGI.
Same
yeah.
thing where they literally have half a building and then they'll put the rest in there. So it's amazing how you go from matinee to now.
To that, yeah. Well, it didn't look like it was why would you have? It was between two giant mountains, and it was why would you
Just in the middle of wherever the hell they are.
in the middle of nowhere? So
Whatever.
who knows?
Who
So
cares?
One-Eyed Jack walks in. There's a bunch of these ninjas.
Monks, ninja monks that are all training in stereotypical Asian fashion. I think there's one skinhead in there. There's some random white guy who just happens to be in the crowd for some reason, but that's weird.
Who knows?
Don't worry about it.
I don't know, but so she ends up getting there, and the corpse of the black ninja is I think One-Eyed Jack brought him here. We don't know exactly why. I mean, I guess they were all supposed to meet up at the end of the flick, but we don't know at this point what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah, because we don't care. For one, they don't care, so they don't really explain it
They
to
don't
us.
care.
He's there. Body's there for some reason. She shows up in her dumbass truck with the sword.
And she's like, "Can you save me?" Legitimately,
Yeah.
"Hey, can you save me and get this guy away from
Out of
using
me."
my body?" Yeah, using my body, and then they just proceed to fight. So
Yeah, it's just a weird conversation for a moment, and then I guess she's kind of faking it, or the spirit's faking it through her or whatever, and then
it's
they just
a
start fighting.
horrible conversation because One-Eyed Jack's basically saying, "Yes, I can do it, but you might possibly get killed."
Oh, that's
So-
what she said. She was like, "Is it true that only a ninja can kill another
a
ninja?"
ninja.
And I'm like, "What the fuck?" He's like,
I'm like, how about get that spirit out of your body, put him back into his other body, and because he does come back to life for no reason,
Yeah.
which we find out.
Yeah.
So
Well, they have their fight until he finally exorcises the demon out of her for some reason. How that works, whatever.
there's kind of cool little CGI, 80s CGI, kind of
I don't know what that's
ghosts and yeah. They did that in Batman, I believe. The Tim Burton Batman. I think I told you about it before. In the beginning of the original Batman, you could see him walking away, and it's not really him because it's all a fake set, and then they just kind of drew on. I think it is also drawn kind of animation.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. They've been doing that for years before CGI. It was hand drawn 2D animation almost
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
thing. That's what was the CGI back then.
But it looks cool, and there's a weird glowing effect as well that's on his body, and so he comes back to life, and he stands up oh God, what is it? Nosferatu? Yeah, Nosferatu.
yeah, it's hilarious. He literally just completely stiff just goes.
literally comes back up and starts fighting One-Eyed Jack, of course.
And then this gets to the point where they fight for what feels like 30 years, because I'm all for... This is one of my biggest problems, actually, if you want a quick, is that for me, fight scenes can be long, but they have to have personality and they have to have purpose.
And flow, right? Like, they gotta
flow.
feel like they're
a lot of
moving.
ones have flow. I mean, they have to have momentum to, like, there's got to be a start, middle, and a finish. Like, it's got to be telling a story in the fight. And so if the fight is literally just two people fighting for an extended long period of time with, like, nothing breaking it up, no, like, cadence or something, it gets stale real quick because it's just same stuff over and over again. Nothing's changed. It's one thing if it's, like, it keeps going on because the stuff keeps happening, preventing it from ending, whatever. I'm saying it needs action. It needs breaking it up. It needs to break up the monotony of it. But when it's just literally two people... For the most part, rarely does that ever look, for me, enjoyable when it's just two people literally just fighting in a bad movie for like 10 minutes, which is what this turns out to be.
Going, and you're just like, okay, we get it. Because then you get exactly what the beginning gave us, where they're fighting, and then, of course, Billy and Christy meet up, and then they follow them outside. So now the two ninjas are fighting.
And they're just standing there.
And they keep doing the thing they did in the beginning where it's like, oh, he's dead. Oh, wait, he's actually not dead.
He's not dead because what happens is they're standing there, and she picks up the sword and goes running at the black ninja. And literally, she's like 20 feet away. There's no reason why he can't see her, but he does. He doesn't. And she runs up and stabs him right through like the side.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm dying. And then he stops, hits a button or whatever, and literally starts being flushed down the toilet in the middle of like the dirt.
Spinning in place, like it looks like almost like a tornado or something, just
spinning down into the ground. He's gone, and then what's his name? Yamada's like, I need to check this out, and he comes over to look at him, and literally now the ground falls apart underneath him. He's hanging by a thread, and sure enough, who's not dead? The black ninja.
I was checked out at this point. I was like, okay, we're done.
Yeah,
we're done.
He's holding on to him, and struggling, wrestling, yelling. And then Yamada just pulls out a knife and just stabs him right in the fucking head,
right through the skull,
right through the head. He's finally dead. He falls over.
Dead.
D-E-D.
Yep.
Dead.
Our protagonists share a kiss as we see One-Eyed Jack walking away.
Just off into I was praying. I was hoping he was just gonna like fly away or float away.
Just like
would have added to it,
or like disappear into the sky.
I would have loved any of that, but no.
No, we don't. We get them kissing, and then we get a shot. Yeah, it's the credits, but we see the black ninja out there again.
Gone. Yeah.
So he's still out there.
Real quick, I read that she said that it was really awkward filming that because there was a rush to reshoot it again because originally she was going to become the black ninja, or she was going to become an actual ninja, get all of the powers of a ninja, and defeat the black ninja. But they were like, oh, well, that's stupid because you're a woman and you shouldn't have all that power, whatever. So now instead of doing that, we're just going to have you stab him, and then you guys just share a kiss instead. So I was reading they reshot it months after because they didn't like how empowering that was. So she was originally supposed to become a ninja and then defeat the black ninja.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how that went.
Well, what a film,
The end.
What a film.
Would you say it was almost a dominating film?
It was. It possessed me and possessed my intellect and really dumbed me down a little bit. This flick.
Please, to speed this along so you don't have a stroke here in my bedroom.
No. I mean, this flick, like I said, the first 15 minutes, I remember specifically a lot of my buddies, we would just sit around and watch this, and it blew our minds because you even in the beginning you were having such a fun time.
It was hilarious. I mean,
it
was so over. Like it was just one thing after another, so over the top of just one stupid thing, then another one.
Yep, it's
like I would love to talk to the person who was like, "Oh yeah, I got all these ideas."
Great ideas. I mean, and we get cool shots, especially in the beginning. We didn't really talk about where the ninja's taking out the police force, and we see like. I mean, I think we briefly talked about it. We see like cop cars going into a giant like lake kind of these cool
just
stunts.
flying.
Really
Yeah,
cool
I'm like all
stunts.
these stunts for just this random ass
For a
ninja
random
movie.
movie that
Random ass
it was
ninja
a
movie.
sequel of like I don't even think the first two movies were that successful, and
I don't think so. No.
it's just cool to see that in the first 15 minutes I will always stand by are great. After that, the movie gets blah.
Well,
It's
then
alright.
let's use this perfect opportunity to segue into what would be your rating then,
So
Monsieur AC,
I would say this flick
from 1 to 4.
from 1 to 4, I'd probably give it around a 2.
Okay.
I wouldn't give it too high of a rating. I think the beginning, like I said, is super fun, and if you're gonna watch anything, I think it's on YouTube, so you can just go watch it on YouTube. But I think the rest of the film doesn't know what it wants to be. It's frustrating because the characters are bland and boring. This girl is like I told you, she's essentially like she's just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like she's got caught up in this, and that's why. Which there's movies like that where a character gets caught up in a bad situation because of some unfortunate circumstances. That could make for a really cool movie and a really cool narrative. But this film doesn't do anything with it. She's bland. This dude that she's with is really annoying and doesn't really add anything to the movie. And I think it's just not well written. But the fight scenes, they're fun. It's super 80s. The music is awesome in this flick. So it's a 2. It's not something that I don't know if I'd recommend to everybody. But those first 15 minutes, man, that's it. How about you though, Scrooge?
So I would actually, I'm gonna give it a 3 because I was actually close to giving it a 4 until it got to the end. Because let me lay it on you. I thought it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. It was something. This is something that I would recommend to certain people who like watching really crappy stuff and like making fun of stuff. So I would see this. I could watch this again with somebody who knows how to make fun of bad movies. Where it lost me in the sense of a movie that I'd watch over and over again as a bad movie, so bad it's good, is the repetitive and drawn out nature of some of the parts at the end, where it does get too much into the possession bullshit, and then the fight that lasts like 30 minutes, like where it just starts dragging on, where it's not really as funny anymore, because it's like then I'm just sitting there waiting for it to be over. Which anything that's, like we talked about is good, whether it's actually good or it's a movie that's so bad it is good, is one that keeps going along and keeps a fast pace for the most part. So that way we can laugh at something else happens, we can laugh at that. But if it's just one thing being dragged out for like 30 minutes, which is what the last fight feels like, that's literally what kept me from giving it a 4, because I was actually really enjoying pretty much all of it. I mean, the fucking V8 juice and the whole 15 minutes at the beginning and just all the stereotypical, because I get a real kick out of all of the fake Asian tropes and stuff that movies like this just completely annihilate, because I'm a big fan of Asian culture through, martial arts and everything else. So when I see this this butchery of it always makes me laugh, and why I get more enjoyment out of it than maybe say you would, because it just, for me, it makes me laugh about how stupid, a lot of these American movies are about, Japanese mysticism and everything like that. Yeah. So that's why I would give it more of a 3. I would give it a 3 because, like I said, I enjoyed it. I'd watch it again with the right crowd, but I wouldn't give it any more than that, because there's some stuff that just drags out, which is like the fact that why, when I realized it was being serious about the whole possession thing, I thought that was really stupid. And the fact that there's nothing to explain why any of this is happening at all.
I don't know. And like you said at the end, you made a perfect point. Like, an end of a film, you can take it slow, but you gotta build up. You can't just make it slow and then the end of the movie you're like, oh, okay. Like, like Terminator 2, for an example. Like, the end of that film is actually, it's pretty slow at the end, but there's a reason for it. It builds up a certain tension and you get the resolution. Whereas in this film, it's the complete opposite. It's boring, 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 just dragging on forever. Or what they could have did is some films do this, wrap it up pretty quick, and make the end of the film. Because I feel like, I don't know if you notice this, but in a lot of films, like after you watch movies a lot, you kind of know when the end is happening. Even if you're not looking at like the time code to see if you're actually near the end, you can kind of get a sense and a feel of like the final showdown, especially in these kind of films.
I think for sure in these films, I can tell.
That's what
it's
I'm
the
saying.
End. Yes,
Like,
for sure in these films,
and,
there's usually like you can tell this is the climax, this is the third act. This
horror
is like,
movies do the same thing. Like
this is like this is the end.
Yep.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm saying. But this movie didn't have that. Where, as I said, like I thought like that temple part was gonna be the last part, and they go outside the temple. Like that's such lazy. Like, oh, let's go shoot up in the mountains. Why not? Like,
well, that like I said, remember, I think that's probably because it dragged out because she was supposed to be a ninja and probably join in and whatever and defeat the guy.
Whatever
like,
the alternate.
Yeah, they're like, nah, that's stupid. So we're gonna just have this guy fight for like 20 minutes. So
yeah. Well, all right. Well, thank you for watching this.
No, thank you for suggesting it because I had a fun time watching this one.
We'll pick up soon. We got Thanksgiving coming up, where we're going to be talking about Thanksgiving.
I'm so excited for that.
If we can get our hands on it, we'll see. We have.
We'll find it. Don't worry.
We have next month. We have a couple episodes planned because it's going to be Christmas time.
Yeah.
Or for all you PC people out there, it's going to be the holiday season. Happy holidays, of course.
I don't say that to communists, so I'm sorry.
Well, for us folks, it's going to be Christmas time, so it's going to be pretty fun. And we're going to have to dig through and find some really god-awful Christmas movies.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Out of all the holidays, I would have to say Christmas has the worst movies.
It can, for sure.
Easter is up there, too. I think Easter films can also be pretty bad.
I don't think I've seen an Easter movie, though.
Well, like Easter Bunny movies.
Okay.
Like, there's a lot. You know?
The only one I've really seen is one my nephew loves, Hop.
Hop, yeah,
which is, I mean, extremely for kids. It's amazing. You know, it's perfect for kids because it's mind numbing and it's stupid. But yeah, I watched a little bit of that. And I'm like, yeah, this is pretty bad.
Well, there's a Barney movie as well. I remember watching as a kid, and oh boy, that's bad. And we'll get to that.
Oh yeah, we got big thing, as rappers would say, big things coming.
Big things coming on the way. We're gonna be doing. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do some holiday specials, and we also we're talking about. We're eventually going to do. Well, I shouldn't say we're eventually going to do because maybe if we don't do it, then we don't do it. But we would like to do a whole month on certain actors and, as well as we were saying, certain bad sequels to popular films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certain like franchises that have a lot of highs, but there's always that one either really good low or really bad low that is like the black sheep of the franchise. And I think that'd be a good, interesting thing to talk about.
We're going to have a bunch to talk about, so stay tuned with us. And as always, I'm AC.
I'm Scrooge.
And these are
Real Bad Movies. So let's talk about the acceptable list of things you can pour onto a woman to lick off. I would most likely say raw sewage, of course, chicken noodle soup, because that's always good for the soul. Expired milkshakes, because it's got that nice fermented scent. So if you're not getting half of that, you're getting half of something. You know what I mean? Cigarette butts, great. Eco-friendly instead of just